Hi, I'm Realtor Bert Tade, and welcome to another edition in a video series that I call Sipping Coffee or Tea with Realtor Bert Tade. In this series, we attempt to sort through the hoopla, the hype, and yes, even media negativity surrounding the real estate industry. So thanks for watching my video. This is a four-part series which is geared toward first-time home buyers. We believe that if you're armed with the knowledge and the insight that you need, it's going to instill a lot more confidence in you to make a well-informed decision when buying a home. Here we are in the summer of 2024. It is a very challenging interest rate environment. So by watching this video series, perhaps it's going to get you one step closer to achieving your goal of home ownership, which, by the way, I still consider to be the cornerstone of the American dream. That's my opinion, right? As a Texas real estate broker, I'm an advocate for home ownership, and I think it's so much better than renting. And this is the fourth video in the series. The first three were as follows. Perhaps you've already watched the steps to buying a home. The second video was understanding mortgage options. The third one is the importance of credit scores. And this is the fourth video and the last video in the series for first-time home buyers. And this one is saving for a down payment. So again, challenging interest rate environment. We're hovering around 7% in the summer of 2024. The Fed has yet to drop rates. They had suggested, a lot of economists have suggested that the Fed might lower rates, not the mortgage rates because they lower the overnight funds rate, but it's in lockstep with Fannie Mae and the setting of mortgage interest rates. And believe me, they had predicted 2, 3, even 4 rate cuts. Now we're hearing they might be raising rates again because they're trying to get inflation under control. Can I be honest? I think it has more to do with the printing of money, quantitative easing. Of course, we're going to have inflation. Simple economics. Anyway, so saving for a down payment is the topic for today's video. The first point I want to make is, of course, determine your down payment goal. Right? How much are you going to put down? Right? Standard down payments range between 3% and 20%. Depending on what type of loan you're looking for, right? And that's of the home's purchase price. So the higher down payment it can be, the lower you're going to be paying on a monthly basis for those mortgage payments. And of course, maybe even eliminate the need for PMI, as we call it, private mortgage insurance, right? Remember that with an FHA loan, the Federal Housing Administration loan that I talked about in video number 2, that is a 3% down payment, and for that loan type, you will have MIP or mortgage insurance premium for the entire life of the loan. Okay, you can save that. I just closed with buyers. They bought a house with me 7-8 years ago. That was their first house, and it was an FHA loan because that's what they could get as first-time home buyers, right? They were a lot more flexible on the loan standards. And he said this time around, he said, you know, Bert, we want to sell this house and buy another brand new house with you. But this time we really want to avoid all this mortgage insurance nonsense. What do we do? I said, you know what you do? You take the equity that you built in this house and you roll it into the next house as part of your down payment. If you put 20% or more as a down payment, you're going to avoid, on a conventional loan, you're going to avoid that PMI, that private mortgage insurance. And sure enough, it lowered their payment. So, if you have any questions about PMI or anything else related to this video series, although I'm not licensed in lending, I'm a Texas real estate broker. I'd be more than happy to either answer whatever questions I can or am qualified to answer, or I will get you in touch with the appropriate professionals. My lender partner is Pat Fitzgerald at USA Mortgage. He is outstanding. I've talked about him in other videos, and he's the best in the business. We talked about the down payment goal. The second point I want to make is, of course, create a savings plan. Right? Set a timeline for when you want to buy a house and calculate how much you need to save each month in order to achieve that goal of buying a house, right? So automate transfers to a dedicated savings account. How about that, right? Automatically out of every paycheck you have a transfer from your checking account or wherever you're getting your direct deposit into savings. Just dump it in the savings account to start building that down payment fund, right? And soon you'll find that you'll have that 3.5% for your down payment rather quickly for an FHA loan, or 5% for conventional on the minimum sides. However, remember, you got to save for closing costs as well. So just something to keep in mind, right? You got to have a savings in mind. So you're going to want to cut unnecessary expenses, of course, when saving for a down payment. And you're going to want to basically review your monthly expenses and identify areas where you can cut back. You want to redirect your savings toward that down payment fund. Again, like we said in the last point that I just made, have an automatic transfer between checking to savings and keep that amount, that savings amount, building and building and building, because when you do go to purchase that home, they're going to need to source those funds. What does that mean? Well, it means that they need to know where they came from. Ever since 9/11, we have a little something called the Patriot Act, right? And they need to know where those funds are coming from. It can't just be cash that you just deposit in the account because somebody just gave you cash and here, let me just deposit a whole wad of cash into my account. I mean, they're going to want to be able to source those funds. Where did those funds come from? Now, you can get a gift from a family member or a friend or something like that. That's perfectly legal. You have to source, and they're going to ask them for their bank statements where they're showing that it came out of their account and it went into your account. The numbers have to jive, right? Out of their account into your account on the day that they transferred it, and on the day you received it. It's got all check out. It's all part of the paper trail that the feds require you to have to source those funds. And you can they'll have to maybe write a gift letter as well. So that's definitely something you want to consider. Now, in terms of cutting expenses that we just talked about, I learned a trick in Financial Peace University, FPU, by Dave Ramsey. Diana and I took a class, it must have been 8 years ago, 7-8 years ago, about Financial Peace University, and he talked about, Dave Ramsey did, the budgeting with envelopes. And that's something that you might consider. So every expense that we have, every household expense we have it all put aside in an envelope, which is put aside. I have, for example, this is my dry cleaning envelope, right? Every month I put $50 aside for dry cleaning. This is just one of 11, 12, 13 envelopes. I think 13 envelopes that we have every single month allocated for every single household expense. And my wife swears that it has saved us financially, right? As a household, that we have these envelopes. So that's a little tip. On a side note, something that you might consider. Just Google, Dave Ramsey envelopes and whatever for saving or for budgeting, that kind of thing, and you'll learn a little bit more about that. But again, it's been a great tool for us that we've used over the last every single month religiously for the past 7 or 8 years, whatever it's been. And by the way, you can buy those envelopes at the dollar store, right? They're cheap. The fourth point I want to make is to, of course, boost your income, right? Consider taking on a part-time job or maybe even freelance work to increase your savings. That's another way you can do it, right? We're in the gig economy, right? People are driving for Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, Uber Eats, all these different platforms, even driving part-time for Amazon, going delivering a couple packages here and there, of course, you can also sell any unused items or assets to add to your down payment fund. Again, have a fund put aside, right, in a savings account, wherever that's going to be, but make sure it's in a banking institution so they can source those funds when you does come time to buy the house, and of course make that down payment and pay those closing costs. They have to source those funds, folks. And the fifth and last point I'll make is to explore down payment assistance programs. So we have a number of really cool programs here in the city of San Antonio. I think it's run out already. If you have any questions about it, just reach out to me. I'll be happy to research it for you. But there are a number of down payment assistance programs here in Texas. There are, again, local, state, federal programs that offer grants and loans for down payments. So that might be helpful for you. Research the eligibility requirements and, of course, the application process for these types of programs. Because some of that stuff could be free money. Some of it might be a second lien position that you have to pay back. Some of them might be second lien positions that you don't have to pay back, as long as there's a stipulation, perhaps, that as long as you stay in the house for X amount of years or something like that. There are a number of different things. And by the way, on a side note, just as an idea, how about house hacking? Ever heard of that? It is basically buying a duplex, triplex, or quadruplex. Because remember, our Texas, anywhere in the country, 1 to 4 doors is still considered residential. Anything 5 doors or more is commercial. That's a whole other animal. But like in Texas, our purchase and sale agreement is called a 1 to 4 family. What does that mean? Well, it can be one family in a single family home. It could be a duplex. That's a 2-family home, right? 2 different doors. Triplex, 3 doors. Or a 4-family. It's a quad. Any one of those, if you buy one of those, you can buy it with an FHA loan or VA loan. You live in one of those, and I think the stipulation is you got to live there for 2 years at least with an FHA loan. VA, if you move away, then you can lose your eligibility, right? It's an old other animal. But FHA, I think they make you live there for 2 years. But you're house hacking because, yes, you have the mortgage, but guess what? Your renters, they're your neighbors, essentially. You're their landlord, and you're collecting rent from them, which offsets that mortgage payment. I had a first-time home buyer just this year come to me through a referral with a very good friend of mine. Hi, Kathy, if you're watching. And this gal, Erica, wanted to buy a duplex. So we started looking into that, and she's kind of still in that process. But I mean, that's terrific because your next door neighbor, again, as your tenant, is helping you pay your mortgage. So that's what's referred to in the real estate investing world as house hacking. Another tip for you there. But hopefully you found this video series interesting. Those are 4-part series once again. If you missed the other 3 videos that came before this one, which is saving for a down payment, then be sure to watch those other 3, which of course are steps to buying a home, number 1. Number 2 is understanding mortgage options, and number 3, the importance of credit scores. So feel free to reach out to me once again if you have any questions. 210-376-TALK. The TALK is 8255, right? So San Antonio area code 210-376-TALK. Reach out to me at your leisure. My phone is answered from 8 to 8, 6 days a week. More than happy to answer any questions you might have. Let me be a resource to you, right? Not a sales pitch or anything. Just, hey, no obligation. Just reach out, and I'd love to be a resource to you, your friends, your family, whoever might be looking to buy a house. Because, again, I believe this is the cornerstone still of the American dream, homeownership. So anything I can do to be a catalyst to help you make that happen, that's what I'm here for. I'm Realtor Bert Tade. I'm also broker owner of Santino Properties LLC. Hopefully you enjoyed this video series, which is a part of my Sipping Coffee or Tea educational video series about the real estate industry. If I can be of any of assistance to you, I want you to reach out to me anytime. Take care, and thanks for watching my video.